Welcome, Livingston, to a brand new sports show here at Livingston High School. This is Crunch Time with Reed Becker. I'm your host, Reed Becker, and this show today will be, in general, we'll be talking about previewing the biggest sports games coming up, or reacting to the biggest sports games that happened, and to the biggest sports news. So we'll start right away, with NFL Sunday reaction. So first game, we'll start. The Jets lost Sunday to the Vikings at MetLife Stadium. First of all, the Jets were in the game with the Vikings in the first half, and even though Darnold struggled, they still had it, and their defense did pretty good. But then the second half, they just folded, and Minnesota became what everyone knows Minnesota is. But that's beside the point. We understand Minnesota is really good. This is where I'm going to introduce my new segment for this show, Reed's Rant. And for today's rant, people love Sam Darnold. He's going to be the savior of the Jets. He's going to be the next great quarterback. Pump the brakes. So first of all, Darnold threw 3 interceptions yesterday against the Vikings. And also, it was cold weather at MetLife Stadium with the wind. That is something that he did not have at USC. Yesterday, he just looked like basically what he looked like at USC, because it was just warm weather. But instead, at USC, he always threw picks anyway. Something I noticed about Darnold is he'll do good against bad teams like the Colts or Denver, but then against like a good team, Jacksonville, Minnesota, he struggles mightily. East Coast, cold weather. Welcome to the Northeast, kid. So that's what I think. People just need to calm down about Darnold. Let's see, even he's going to go up to Buffalo in the winter too, when it gets colder too. So just chill out. We'll see what happens. You can't just automatically write him off as the great. That's going to take over for the Jets and bring them to the promised land. Can't happen yet. The next game I wanted to discuss was last night. Last night the Giants lost to the Falcons Monday night in Atlanta. The Giants were actually surprisingly close, and it was a low-scoring game. But the problem that I have with the Giants yesterday was that they did a quarterback sneak on back-to-back plays in the fourth quarter when they were right near the end zone, and there was only a couple seconds left in the game, no timeout, and then, so what's the point of that? At that point, you should just be throwing the ball to get a touchdown. Running for Eli to do a quarterback sneak who can barely get out of the pocket is useless. Eli can barely run, and why? You have no timeouts. That's a useless play. Just waste more time, and then by the time they even had to do the onside kick, there was only 5 seconds left. Made no sense. But then today the Giants made a trade with the Saints. They traded Eli Apple to the New Orleans for a 4th rounder and a 7th rounder in 2020. To me, this just proves that another pick that Gettleman gave up, that was Jerry Reese's. To me, Apple last year wasn't even that good. He also had some personality problems, and I just think that he did it better this year. But it's just to me another bad pick by Reese that Gettleman has gotten rid of. And I do think that with the trade deadline next week, the Giants, this is not the first one the Giants will be doing. There will be plenty more. I don't think they'll trade Beckham because no one's going to want his contract, and especially with the risk of the way he acts on the sideline, I don't think anyone will want to risk that. But they will definitely be more trades to come, I think. Another game that happened was across the pond in London. Titans lose a close one to the Chargers. The problem was that Mike Vrabel, the Titans head coach, 20-19, you're going for 2 instead of just taking the extra point to go to overtime. Why? Your defense controlled the game against a good Chargers offense. Why? You don't have faith in your defense, even though they've been controlling the game against Phillip Rivers and the Chargers? It made no sense, especially now. That hurts. That was a tough loss for Tennessee in the AFC South, because now they're just tied with Jacksonville, and that adds up to their record as the season goes on. That's just a tough loss when you're in a playoff hunt. It's not like you have no wins yet this season. You're in a playoff race. That's just a bad play call. But something about this is what I think was real crazy. The Eagles blew a a 17-point lead at home to the Carolina Panthers in Philly. That was all in the fourth quarter. They blew a 17-point lead. The Eagles, to me, this is just another shows that they're having a Super Bowl hangover. I don't think they're that good anyway this year. They shouldn't even won last year's divisional game against Atlanta. Atlanta had the ball right near the end zone, but that's a different story. But yeah, they're never that good anyway. And they had Nick Foles last year when they were good when Wentz went down. Now they have Carson Wentz back, and he hasn't been as good as what he was before he got injured last year. Their defense is struggling, to say the least. Just a Super Bowl hangover. That's the best way to put it. And that's, to me, the Eagles are done. The Eagles will not make the playoffs. And that brings me to my next point. As with the Cowboys game last night, the Cowboys lost at Washington on a missed 52-yard field goal. But besides that, I understand that's a huge part of the game. But Dak Prescott still struggling. I understand they traded for Amari Cooper yesterday. But to me, Oakland won that trade. That's a highway robbery that John Gruden pulled on the Cowboys. You give up a first-rounder for a rental, basically. They're going to have to give him a contract extension. Even still, Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott is still inaccurate with his passes. He's only good at basically just running outside the pocket, and then they've gone with Ezekiel Elliott. But let's see if Prescott can even just throw a ball straight first before Amari Cooper. Because Amari Cooper also numbers have gone down mightily. From a couple of years ago, he did really well. But then this year and last year, his numbers have disappointed, to say the least. And that's another reason why that's a highway robbery that Gruden pulled. Now, moving on to the baseball diamond. We have World Series. Game 1 starts tonight in Boston at Fenway Park. Dodgers, Red Sox. Now, I understand the Red Sox are the favorites. I would think that the Red Sox are going to win this series, obviously, with the way that their offense is, unfortunately, as a Yankee fan. But something about this. I think the Dodgers have the best chance to go up against, to scare Boston. Now, you might say that's ridiculous. You might say that Red Sox have the best offense in the league, in MLB this year. Although, one second. Doing some research, I found some of these numbers. Well, yes. So the Dodgers have the similar batting average as Boston for this season. Boston was batting 269 batting average. Dodgers were then also 257 batting average, not that far off. So I think their offense can match up well with Boston's offense. But the only key for the Dodgers now is just to get to the Boston bullpen, though, because starting pitching is really good, but their bullpen is struggling. Even though they've done better in this postseason with their bullpen, if they bring in Craig Kimbrell, their closer, he'll walk the bases loaded. And with this Dodgers team, this offense, I still think that they could do damage against this Boston team. And I understand, although the Dodgers this postseason have been struggling with clutch hitting, that's something they'll have to come up big with in this series. They can't just rely on the home run, the long ball. But I think, they have to rely on the home run. They can't rely on the home run. You have to get hits in key situations to beat Boston. But yes, that's what I think. And also to prove how poorly the Dodgers have been batting this postseason, with runners in scoring position, they're batting 190 batting average. But I still think if they can get to the Boston bullpen, they'll have a good chance. And with their offense matching up well from this season with Boston, they'll be good. They can match up well and give Boston a scare for their money. All right. Next topic. To the hardwood. We'll start with the New York Lakers with LeBron. Now, I understand people think that, Lakers got LeBron, they can challenge the Warriors, take down the Warriors. No. First of all, they're 0-3. Lakers, when I watch the Lakers so far this season, I see they have no good shooters. Everything they do is on fast breaks, layups, alley-oops, or through LeBron. This is the Western Conference. I understand LeBron carried his team, carried the Cavs last year to the finals, beat Boston. Although I do fully believe that if Boston had Hayward or Kyrie last year in that series, Boston would have won. I fully believe that. But yes, he carried them to the finals. But last time I checked, Cavs are in the Eastern Conference. Lakers are in the Western Conference. Eastern Conference is a weak conference. Western Conference. Welcome to the Wild Wild West, LeBron. You met your match. The Lakers, if the Lakers have this same roster that they have right now, the Lakers will not get past the Houston Rockets in the playoffs. That's right, I said it. They will not get a chance to get to the Golden State Warriors come playoff time. So see what the Rockets did last year against Golden State and against this Lakers team that's inexperienced. The Lakers have no shot against Chris Paul, James Harden, and that team is just going to be unstoppable for our young Lakers team. Yes, so Rockets will definitely, unless the Lakers are able to do something at the deadline, maybe Jimmy Butler, although I don't think Jimmy Butler doesn't want to go there, I don't think that would happen. They wouldn't trade for Kawhi because they're not going to want to give talent up when they can get him in free agency. Although when they tried to do it, Paul George, they got the bad end of that. But yes, so that's for the Lakers. Now back locally, though, for the basketball. For the Knicks. Despite their losses, they've been really close and showing really good effort. Young talent doing really well. Against Boston on Saturday, they lost only by 2. And they would go to overtime if Trey Burke hit the first free throw and the three free throw attempts. But against a team that's supposed to go to the Eastern Conference Finals and then go to the finals, that's really good. It's not like Boston even rested anyone, and they were still able to do. And their talent with the Knicks, with their young talent, I understand Kevin Knox got hurt, but I think Kevin Knox is going to be a stud. And so far, from what I've even seen so far, just from a couple of games, he's looked really, really, really good. And then you have Tim Hardaway, who has been going off these past couple of games, basically from last year, except he hasn't been streaky yet, but he has been doing really well. And Alonzo Trier, this is amazing. Alonzo Trier went undrafted out of Arizona, is a scoring machine. He showed this at Arizona last year. He's showing it at Madison Square Garden so far this season. That pick by the Knicks was a steal. Well, it wasn't a pick. It was an undrafted signing. That's a steal. That's a win, big win, and good offense option for the Knicks. And then another player that they drafted in the second round this past draft, Mitchell Robinson, who didn't even really play organized basketball, go to college for basketball. They took him in the second round. He gives them, that's another big steal for Scott Perry and the Knicks. Get him in the second round. Mitchell Robinson gives the Knicks size, doesn't have to play Enes Kanter all the time, rebounds, finish inside at the hoop. I know that's kind of old school in today's game, but that is what his talent is. The Knicks could use that. A young team, he is also young, but that gives them more height and advantage inside. And that is a huge, huge win. He'll be really, really, really good. And then for Fizdale, I like how Fizdale's been so far. I understand that they haven't been winning that much games. Even last night, though, they were close in Milwaukee on the road against the team with Giannis Antetokounmpo, a team that will be in the playoffs. But Fizdale, he actually shows emotion, unlike a Jeff Hornacek or Derek Fisher from a couple of years ago. Fizdale will show emotion. He'll get angry. He'll teach the young players what to do in such situation that they mess up with. And even Saturday, after Saturday's game against Boston press conference, he'll admit if he messed up a play. For example, after the Boston game on Saturday, he was asked about one of the last couple plays of the game, and he said, "Oh, he completely messed up. Called a dumb play." If you Brett, if you watch Jeff Hornacek or Derek Fisher in their press conferences with the Knicks, they would have just defended their decision. They would not listen to what the media, what the fans would be saying about their play calls, about their offense. Fizdale's willing to listen, and he's actually developing the players. That's something the Knicks have not had, and that is something that he is really, really helping with. Finally, something about, I understand also with the close games, they're losing, but it's good to be in close games because they need to get a higher draft pick, one more higher draft pick for this season. So if they can show close games, and still lose while showing progress, that's what a Knicks fan should be asking for this season. You get a high draft pick, one more, a good player out of college, and then I fully believe that the Knicks will get somebody come free agency in July 1. Because even if, Porzingis isn't playing so far this year, we don't know if he'll be back this year. If he does come back and they're able to play well with him or keep close, or even just not, they don't play with him, but they still keep close with good teams, players will want to come sign with the Knicks and play at the Garden. I think it would be, first of all, I think what we know, because he said after the game Saturday against Boston, Kyrie said he was considering the Knicks. Now we know he probably will stay in Boston, but I do fully believe if he was leaving the Knicks, if he was leaving Boston, he would have gone to the Knicks. He's from West Orange, New Jersey, the New York, New Jersey area. The Knicks are the main team in New York. They would have gotten Kyrie if he leaves Boston, but that probably won't happen. Another free agent, who will be a free agent, Jimmy Butler. Now he wants out right now, currently out of Minnesota. I don't think the Knicks will trade for Jimmy Butler right now this season because they're not. First of all, Minnesota is not going to want anything the Knicks have. Secondly, the Knicks aren't going to want to give up young talent, even though I think they should trade Ntilikina, which is one of their young talents, but they won't do that, and Minnesota won't take it either. But I think the Knicks will be going after him free agency. I think it's a possibility he goes to the Knicks. I definitely don't think he'll go to the Lakers. He does not want to play with LeBron and be in the spotlight there. And then Clippers possibly he definitely wants LA, and then there was also mentioned Brooklyn, but Brooklyn, that's not going to work for him. I don't think he's going to go to Brooklyn. That was just for trade purposes, for Minnesota to give as a list of which team he wants to go to, but that won't happen. It would be Knicks, I would believe, or he would just go to the Clippers. Definitely not the Lakers. And then obviously this last free agent, obviously this is probably a reach for right now, although I know that Chris Haynes said this from Yahoo Sports. He's gone on Fox Sports 1, and he said this. Kevin Durant to the Knicks possibility. Kevin Durant has a business that is run in New York. His agent has a business run there. His dad grew up a Knicks fan, but I understand that's a big reach. However, this was mentioned from Chris Haynes as he's setting it up as like when LeBron was setting up to go to the Lakers. Now, that is exactly what happened with LeBron. He just went up and left. But first of all, Kevin Durant right now, we know that it sounds like he's not 100% on going back to the Warriors next year. We know that he's not angry, but he's getting bored with just winning every year with the finals and then getting MVP every year. I think he'll probably want a new challenge. He would not go to OKC again. That would not happen, but he wants a new challenge. He wants to be the face of a team again, the number one option. And I don't think it's a guarantee that he goes to the Knicks, but I'll say that it's a possibility that he'll go to the Knicks, and I think the Knicks will definitely reach out to him come July 1, and I do believe that he'll consider it because of David Fizdale, who was an assistant with Miami when LeBron was there. He's very well respected by top players, good players, and that's basically the whole point why the free agents, I think, will strongly consider New York as a top destination. Because if they had someone else, that would not happen. But Fizdale knows the game, has the personality, has coached stars like LeBron as an assistant in Miami, and the Knicks are in a really good spot right now for their future. All right. That's all I got for you today. I'm your host, Becker. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.